Hey guys, so I am back in Sammy's room, but he's not here, so I'm just being like creepy and just filming in his room for really no reason other than I like to just mix things up and I just like to film in different places. And he knows I'm here though, so it's not like totally weird. So hey. So June wrap up, yeah. This month was crazy because I feel like it lasted like 7 days, the whole month, and it just was just so full of stuff. And I'm proud. I mean, of still what I managed to read. I'm actually really proud in myself. But so I read a total of 5 books this month, and I'm still in the middle of 2 books. So I would have finished 7, but I didn't, so that's okay. So the first book I read, I actually read over a kind of longer period of time than like normal because I was reading with other booktubers, and that was Delirium by Lauren Oliver, and this is the first of a trilogy. I think the third one came out not that long ago. Maybe it was a long time ago. I don't know. Well, I enjoyed this book. It was good. It wasn't absolutely amazing to me, but I enjoyed it. I think that my problem with the book was like some of the pacing for me personally would get kind of slow. And the whole general idea of this book was it was really hard for me to put like my mind to grasp the concept of a world without love, I guess, just because I think of like, you know, a mother's love, and for example, and I just can't imagine like a mother not loving her own child. And I don't know, it took me a really long time for me to wrap my mind around that, so that kind of hurt the story a little bit for me, because I mean, seriously, it was like probably a third of the way through the book before I actually really felt really into it because I wasn't really connecting with the story. It also didn't help that I really wasn't connecting with the main character, so I was kind of finding her to be a little annoying at times. She was just okay, I guess. You know, I liked like her friend Hannah, and I liked Alex in the story, and I liked other people, but as far as the main character, she was just alright. The story itself, I feel like not a lot happened. You know, it's kind of one of those stories. I feel like later on things started happening more, but here and there'd be like a little spark of something that'd be really exciting. But it was kind of slower at parts and stuff. I enjoyed it though. Like, I liked the book. I gave it 4 stars. I'm like, I will continue, and I want to know what happens. I'm not like insanely like, you know, I gotta get this next book right now kind of thing, like I do sometimes when I finish the first book of a trilogy, but it was good. Like, I would recommend it if you like dystopian, you know, books, and, you know, if you like romance and stuff like that, but it was a nice read. The next one I read, this was a reread, and it was Uglies by Scott Westerfeld, and I read this the first time a long time ago, and since then I've reread it many times, and I was just in the mood for it, and I read it rather quickly. This is the first of a series, and I actually did a book review, and I will link that below, so it is easily accessible to you guys if you missed it. But it's my favorite dystopian series. I love the main characters. I love the world. I love everything. I have like no problems with this series. It's so good. If you have not read this series, I definitely recommend that you do. The next book I read was Wake by Amanda Hocking, and I read it on my Nook, and I got it just on a whim because it was a cheap Nook book at the time, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a very kind of light read for me, and it was just really what I was like looking for. It's just what I was in the mood for, I guess. Just about this like teenage girl who lives with her dad and her sister, and she kind of just has like a normal life. She loves to swim. She swims every single day. She's on the swim team, and it's kind of a story about these strange like girls that come into town, and they're kind of looking at her kind of weird, and these girls are gorgeous, but it's like there's something odd about them, like something different kind of, and it's just this story about how they kind of pull her into their group, and I just really enjoyed it. It's about the water. I ended up giving it 4 stars because I liked it. The first half of the book I loved, and then it kind of was just, it got a little weird at the end, but I totally just left it on like a cliffhanger, and so you get the second book. I think there's 3 total, I'm not sure, but I will be continuing the series, and I will be interested in seeing what happens next. The next book I have is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein, and I picked this up a long time ago in I think it was like a flea market or something. I got it for super cheap, and I'd heard of it before. I'd seen a copy of this at Target, and the first half or so, I have to say that it was just okay. It was just alright, nothing super special, nothing incredible. It was okay. There were parts that kind of like, it was slow for me in the beginning because it was so sad, honestly, and kind of depressing with this woman dying, and it was just kind of sad. Then, it's like halfway through the book, it like picked up, and it was so good. I mean, so good. This whole book is through a dog's perspective. There's so many lessons in here that's so awesome, how this like dog can teach us so much about being a human. And you can tell, like, I marked a bunch of things on the side, and there's just so many great quotes. And I loved how, I'm not really into like racing and like NASCAR and stuff, but I loved how this dog and his master, Denny, they love racing. His master's like, his best friend's like a pro race car driver or whatever, and they will sit there and watch like races together, and there are so many like analogies and stuff to racing, and some of them are kind of like over my head, like I don't understand, but there were so many great ones. And later on, like, I feel like anyone could understand it, even if you don't like racing kind of thing. And I marked them. It was such a sweet story. Like, I think halfway through you really start getting, like, it was like a page turner. Like, I was not expecting that. Like, I wanted to know what happened. I was reading so quickly because I was getting so frustrated with these two characters in this book. Not the dog and Denny, these other two characters. And I just wanted to know what happened. I was getting so frustrated, and and it was amazing. And like the ending, oh my gosh, I was with other people, but if I was by myself, I probably would have cried a little bit. Like, it really was just kind of emotional. And I had heard a lot of good things, so now I know what people are talking about. But I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was very touching, and I just felt like there were a lot of like really nice lessons in it and stuff. And I definitely recommend this book if you are a dog lover, if you love racing, like I said, like NASCAR, like stuff like that. Just anything. If you love contemporary books, it was a great book. The next book I read, I have seen this around BookTube, and I just really like the cover for some reason a lot, and I've really been wanting to read it. And that is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. And I don't know, I just really like this cover for some reason. And I knew going into it that it was like set in the 80s and that it was about first love, and that's pretty much all I knew. And I ended up really liking this book. Gave it like 4.5 stars. It is a contemporary novel. I don't know, I just really like the two main characters. And like I said, it's about their first love. They're only 16 years old, and I just loved all the topics they talked about, like the comics and the music, and they both come from two totally different like homes. I don't know, some parts were so sad. It's definitely not like a lighthearted book by any means, but I mean, there were moments that were very fun and lighthearted, if you know what I mean. There were definitely some like deeper kind of like underlining issues and things that were definitely not, like, they were definitely sad. But the ending, if you read this book, you know what I'm talking about. I don't really want to say anything because I don't want to ruin anything, but I'll just say that it wasn't my favorite type of ending, if that makes sense. But it didn't take away really from the book. I felt like I guess, made sense the way it ended. It was good though. By the way, I forgot to mention, I'm starting to actually write out some short reviews on Goodreads now. So, like, I know I did one for this, I think I did one for The Art of Racing in the Rain, I don't know. But like I mentioned in that review on Goodreads, for example, more about the ending. So if you want to read that, I really don't want to say anything, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But if you like contemporary books, you like things set in the 80s, comic books, music, stuff like that. You'll like this if you like romance stuff, like first love. I just thought it was very cute, and like I said, I like the characters and stuff like that. So I do recommend it. Well, that's all I read and finished this month. like I said, for how busy I was, I'm pretty proud of myself for finishing those. I did start, and I'm still in the middle of 2. Oh, my bookmark just fell out. Oh my gosh, no, I hate that when that happened. Where was I? Okay, well, anywho, so I'm still in the middle of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I'm like 3/4 of the way finished. I am enjoying this book. I don't know, how long have I had this checked out from the library? Have I had this for a while? I feel like I have, but I don't know. Did it say in here? No, it doesn't. Okay, well, I should probably get to finishing this. I am enjoying this book. It is just interesting, and it's very different. I didn't know it was going to be like this. I thought it was going to be like scary and stuff. It's not scary. But anyways, I am enjoying it so far, and I'm not going to do, by the way, like a TBR list or whatever this month, because quite frankly I don't really stick to it, because I can say whatever I want to say to you guys and say I'm going to read these next 5 books next month, but the fact of the matter is, when the time comes, most of the time I don't want to read those books because I'm constantly changing my mind, and I just kind of read to what, like, it's fitting my mood. And so I'm not going to make a list, but I will be finishing this book for sure in the month of July. I will be finishing this and returning it to the library because it's probably due back already. And then I'm going to be reading and finishing Pretties by Scott Westerfeld. I started this right after Uglies, but then quite frankly I just started reading other books, the other books I just listed. And so I'm going to finish this and review this in the month of July as well. I'm just going to leave it a surprise. It's a surprise to me, it's a surprise to you, but I will be reading those 2 books, so you know that. But that is it. So I am going to go. Please let me know what you guys read this month, maybe what you're currently reading. Well, I'm going to go, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!